What's up, 2026? Best channel for spiritual and intellectual honesty. So, what's going on, gang, with y'all? So, I want to talk about what's going on as far as this thing with Mexico. And, I'm a core essence person. I like to get down to nitty gritty, get down to what it is, so that's what I'm going to do in this video. This video will not be long. So, what have we seen so far, right? To understand, we got to get to just a little bit of the backstory, right? We have I'm not. America has Venezuela. We just immediately stuck our hand in the cookie jar, right? We know that Venezuela is just rich with minerals and oil and just everything. We just went straight for it, right? We was like, look, we ain't gonna make no excuses. We gonna just go for the gusto. And that's what we did, right? Well, that's what they did, right? America, right? As far as Venezuela. Cuba, they're basically were relying 100% on Venezuela for oil. Wow, that was kind of like, wow, they only had one avenue, man. That's just kind of bad. So basically, America is basically starving them because they don't have any fuel. This is what we know for sure, right? So we have to understand the timing. We have to understand the movements, right? The movements is everything. And of course, the timing. So Mexico, what do we understand about Mexico, right? Mexico has a government, but the government is it's kind of weak in a way, right? Because the cartels can kind of go toe to toe with the government. And I say not, and I'm not going to say 100% right, but we know that the cartels can give the Mexican government hell. They can bring hell upon the government, give them a very hard time. But we have to understand that a government, they can have allies and make allies and stuff that the Mexican cartel cannot. So in this case, right, the Mexican government will always win, right, if they want to, but it takes a lot of time, it takes effort, and basically a lot of bodies. You understand? So the cartel has lots and lots and lots of weapons, right? And a lot of the cartel, right, they have been trained by the actual Mexican government. A lot of them are trained and they're very adept at fighting. You understand? They're adept at war. Some of them, right? Some of them didn't train other people. So here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, right? America is making moves, okay? America took Venezuela, is going to take Cuba from the looks of it, and it's going to take Mexico, okay? And it's basically, as we always used to say, right? America is the world police, right? But basically, this is what it's acting as, right? The world police, for real. And it's doing so not just for our nation, right? As far as how we're going to benefit, because a lot of these things that's happening right now, we're not necessarily going to benefit directly. You understand what I'm saying? The benefits from usurping other countries and getting their what they have and assimilating these countries, right? It's going to take a while for the average America to benefit. But this is done in movement, right? Of what we've been talking about for the longest, right? And this is the one world. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say everything. You know what I'm saying. So, yeah, Mexico is going to be assimilated. It's going to be part of the United States. Okay? Cuba, Fidel Castro, El Presidente, he's gone. Okay, Cuba has, I'm going to do another video on Cuba, right? They're having spiritual problems. Something's wrong. Something is not quite right with Cuba spiritually. Because Cuba survived so much. Survived for, wow, almost survived 90 years, right? 90 miles away, 90 years, right? Over 90 years. Survived America, with Castro, survived numerous, assassination attempts. You understand? So that wasn't a coincidence, right? That was very spiritual. We're going to do another video on that a little bit later. But yeah, Cuba it's been one. It's been one. Cuba is going to be part of America now. Resistance is futile. I mean, I'm just looking at this in a very objective way. We already got, it's over with. We got Venezuela. I keep saying we, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean. And the whole thing, right? So when it comes to the cartels, so what I'm talking about, right? You should understand that with America, this whole fight, right, has nothing to do with drugs or anything. It has something to do with something a little bit more greater. It's with the power, right? Power and plans. So the cartel, when it comes to America, has to go as far as a power dynamic, as far as controlling the government, right? Because we know that they have their finger in the government and the Mexican government in some shape, form, or fashion. Because of their, the firepower they have, because they're so ruthless. Their ruthlessness, their firepower, all these things, right? So this is why America is coming in and basically they're basically taking out the cartels, and eventually they're going to take out we already know where this is going to go. And this is not just for us, right? They're making like, okay, this is for the might of America. America is doing that. But no, this is for something, for the powers that be. They've been planning 400s, maybe even, well, no, this is, to be correct, this has been going on for thousands of years, right? As far as this one, the one world, right? The world being one, as we should say, right? And, they got Trump, as far as everybody's looking at him, and they have their opinion about him. But basically, he's doing his job very well. I mean, this is objectively, right? No matter what I think about him, his policies or whatever was going on, doesn't matter. He's doing a very good job as far as distracting and getting people not to see what's really going on is what's really happening, right? And that's about it, man. So yeah, Cuba is going to be a part of America. It's going to be America's island, and you know, Venezuela we have, you know, and Mexico. This is all going to be integrated as part of America. And you know who's next, right? Canada. Canada gots to go. Gots to go. Well, it has to go as far as how we know it, right? How they know it. Canada is about to be part of the good old USA, right? But we have to know when these things happen, right? Is something greater that's that's pushing these moves and making these moves happen, because they plan for this way in advance, right? Think about it. These things couldn't happen. Imagine George W. I'm talking about Senior. And look, he was a part of the the government ornaments he was a part of, right? Not gonna say it. You already know. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of that particular ABC government ordinance, right? You understand? And he couldn't do what Trump is doing. It just show you how just a matter of the times, right? How things change, right? And these people, they have forever. Well, yeah, basically, they have time better than the average human being, right? Has, right? Because human beings, we don't plan like this, right? We don't know how to organize our generations, right? Our bloodline and our people like this, like the way they do. You understand? And we probably, for the most part, no human being will ever be able to do that, right? Not for a very, 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 very long time, right? Being realistic, but that's what it is. And George W. Sr. couldn't do certain things, right? He couldn't basically evade Iraq. He had to go to his son. It took what? No, wait. George W. did one term, and George, his son did what? Two terms. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. What, that's 12 years to do basic stuff to do, and Donald Trump is just knocking shit out the park, under his name. Hey, I mean, we just have to understand the metaphysics of time and space, and you know, and the planning. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon.